Hi, and welcome along to DR Sports. It's time to round up, well, not just the weekend, Nicky, to round up the Premier League. The Premier League is over. We know who's won it. We know who got top four. We know who's been relegated. We know who got the Conference League. Sorry about it, mate. Right.
I will take that, man.
Right, and we're going to run right through it here today. And wow, what an incredible last day it was. The Premier League title has gone to Manchester, and it's not Man United. It's the noisy neighbours, Manchester City, again. Let me move this out of the way, because it's got nothing to do with us, has it? Right? Oh, bloody hell, right? They've done it. Manchester City, what an incredible last day. I was at the Emirates, of course, watching Arsenal play against Everton. You was at Brighton. You was watching West Ham versus Brighton. And I can tell you what, right? I could tell, because you know what it's like in football grounds, which is, by the way, this is one of my bugbears, right? That how is it in 2022 you'll be in a football ground and you can't get no reception on your phone? It's absolutely ridiculous. But how I knew what the scores were is I just kept looking over at the Everton fans. So at first they were all doom and gloom. And it wasn't because they were getting tonked 5-1 by Arsenal. They didn't care about that because they were really safe. They were doom and gloom because they're thinking to themselves, we got to drive all the way back up to Merseyside, right? And then when we get there, there's going to be all these Liverpool fans out on the street celebrating. Yeah. And it's going to be unbearable. So when I see them start celebrating, they started celebrating the first time. Then about 5 minutes later, a guy who got reception on his phone goes, oh, you know what? It's 2-2. You know what I mean? City have pulled it back 2-2. And then I saw them about a few minutes later going absolutely like they just scored a goal.
Ballistic, yeah.
Right? They were going ballistic, right? And that was because City had made it 3-2, coming from 2-0 down. Incredible. They do last day dramas, don't they, Man City? 2-0 down.
Yeah, they don't make it easy, do they?
And despite Liverpool winning 3-1, Manchester City, for the fourth time in the last 5 seasons, won the league. Incredible, Nicky.
Yeah, it is incredible, man. It was expected, but as I said before, last days they're never so smooth, are they? Everything's not played on paper. There was a lot of ups and downs throughout the games, like the relegation battle was like that, our battle was like that. Unfortunately, yours weren't really like that, was it?
But dead game.
It was, but the title race was fabulous. You know what I mean? And when you hear, go back 10 years when they first won it, you'll never see another day like this again. We nearly did. Yeah. It was incredible. But man, that's football, isn't it? That's just the way football is.
Absolutely incredible, right? You know what? I was just looking for my brother, right? My youngest brother. He sent me this. He sent a text. We got like a group of us as brothers, right? And where is it going? I can't find it now. He put something like bottle jobs. I mean, like he goes, City again. Oh, here it is. He goes, City, as he wrote it, right? He goes, City could be responsible for the 2 greatest bottle jobs in football history, right? That's what he sent. And then about 20 minutes later, he just sent back a thing. He said, I went early again. Because they didn't bottle it. I mean, when I heard they were 2-0 down, and Coutinho as well scoring one of them goals, and Gerrard, the manager of it, I thought to myself, those Liverpool fans, they must be on cloud 9, because I didn't think they'd get it back. But to come back from 2-0 down and to win it,
It's the mentality, though, isn't it? If you think back to the West Ham game, there was 2-0 down in that as well. Yeah. That's 2 weeks on the spin where they've found
2 weeks in a row, 2-0 down and come back.
Probably the 2 most important games of their season in terms of the Premier League, and 2 times they've come back. They've got it in them, City, and Gundogan, I think he's leaving as well, isn't he? And he come up with 2 of the goals, the 2 important goals, really. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's amazing the way football goes at times. Villa, on the other hand, just hold on. That's all they needed to do. They was trying to play like they wanted to get another one, and all they needed to do was soak up the pressure. 3 goals in 5 minutes from Villa is pretty poor, really. Yeah. When you think about, I know they've got a wealth of attacking talent, but just hold it tight, you know.
And I don't know where, if you're a Man City fan, your nerves this season must be all over the place.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, you had that game against Real Madrid. Like you said, your game last week, 2-0 down. 2-0 down again. I mean, you guys need the summer off. Even though you've won the league, you guys need the summer off. It was absolutely incredible. Liverpool as well. I'll tell you, I don't know if you saw their game. They should have been about 2-3 down as well in the first half. Wolves missed so many chances. They were nervy as well.
They look tired, Liverpool. They look so tired. They look dead on their feet, to be honest with you. And that. You know, what they need to go do now is get away and have a little bit of rest because they've got a Champions League final. But, you know, I was having these arguments about West Ham yesterday. Liverpool have played every available game this season. Every game they could have played in, they've played in it. The 2 finals that they got, they took it to extra time as well. They haven't got as big a squad as City in terms of like the quality they've got to bring in. You know, City, that they can really replace like for like when it comes to sort of talent. Liverpool haven't quite got that. They've got good players, but they haven't quite got that. And they look tired, but they did do it in the end. You know, they did. If that game would have finished 2-2 at City, they would have won the league. You know, they did end up getting the points.
In the end.
Yeah, they end up getting the points, and that's what Liverpool do, and that's what Jurgen Klopp is very good at, and he has been very good at, is getting, you know, over the line.
He must be. If you're a Liverpool fan, you must be like, if we was in any other era, 92 points they got. They have another season where they got 98, or was it 97 points? In any other era, you win the league easily.
Yeah, a couple of times. Right? Yeah,
and they've been pipped now 2-3 times by Man City.
Yeah,
I mean, they must be sick to the death.
They must be
of seeing, you know.
But as a neutral, it's brilliant because they're 2 really good sides.
No, they're outstanding sides.
Yeah, they are outstanding sides.
City lost 3 games. Liverpool only lost 2 games. Liverpool drew 8 games. I think that's where it was cost them Liverpool.
Yeah.
I saw something actually that Liverpool this season, and this is where they fell down. I think it's not. I heard AGT. He was on Sky this morning. I heard him saying it, right, that Liverpool never actually beat any of the teams in the top 4. Which I was quite surprised by. They didn't beat Tottenham, did they? Home and away. They didn't beat Chelsea home and away. And they didn't beat City home and away. And that's where they've fallen down. If they would have even a couple of victories against those, they'd have probably been the champions. Lots of people getting involved in the chat. Big up to everybody. Home of the Champions says, Doyle's Tears, proudly sponsored by EK Gundogan, winning goals. Doyle on the stream yesterday. Honestly, I wanted to come in and put my arm around him, man, and just give him a hug or something, man.
Listen, he's had enough success. Don't worry about Doyle.
Yeah, you're right. Beefy LUFC says, unlucky Nicky, Leeds are staying up.
Yeah,
did you want Leeds to go down?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Stinkmina ZA says City. He said it about 20 times. And there's loads of people in here. Mr. Architecture 1, City, he says. Trudon says, oil money talks. City, says Abdul. And a few people here. Brody, City again. They're very happy. Eventually, this is Caveman. He says, eventually City will be bigger than United, treble or not. 4 in last 5.
Yeah. You can see it going that way, can't you? Because they could, consistently, they can just keep on. I don't know whether they're producing many. They do produce their own talent. They've got Phil Foden and whatnot in there, but they literally can buy what they want. They've got the best manager in the world. Once he decides he wants to leave or has to go, they can get the next best manager. They've got. The only thing that they've got to make sure they do now is win the Champions League. If they can somehow get over that hoodoo, and win the Champions League, I think that they could propel themselves from now. And when you talk about size of clubs and all that, this is argument, isn't there? Who's the biggest club? You can't answer that, because history dictates,
But they're creating history now.
They're creating history.
They're creating history now. Like every year they win it.
Exactly.
Listen. They're building fans around the world because they're having so much success, and also, you know what I mean, they have great players.
Yeah.
Right? And next season, the bad news is they're only going to get stronger because they're bringing in Haaland's coming in. Right? So, you know, it's honestly, they are going to be around for a very long time, and they are building history. And whilst they're moving forward, and let's be real, Man United are moving backwards. We'll get to United later on. There's a super chat here from Nero. It says, Don Robbie, Arteta's pulled the wool over your eyes. When will you realise he's not good enough? As all we needed was 4 points out of 3 games. It was confirmed yesterday that Tottenham got into the top 4. It was Tottenham and Chelsea. Chelsea had already secured that place during the week, and we knew that they were going to get it. It was between Arsenal and Tottenham. Coming down to the last day, Arsenal beating Everton by 5-1. Yeah. But it meant nothing because Tottenham had basically is get out of jail free card, isn't it? When you got Norwich on the last day of the season, the worst team in the Premier League, and that's what they had to do. I remember going to the game yesterday, and some guy come up to me and he said, "Robbie, you know what? You never know, you know." I said, "Yeah, mate, stop it. Absolutely no shot." He goes, "No, but there's Spurs." I said, "Yeah, but they're Norwich."
Yeah.
I said, "You know what? Fair. If it had been anyone else, if they'd have been playing Villa, say they had to play Villa, or West Ham or something like that, maybe. But against Norwich, I knew that they destroyed them, and they did. And you've got to say they deserved to get that 4th place. It's very hard for me to say that as an Arsenal fan.
No,
but it's the truth. They deserve it. And I think Arsenal, and I did an interview after the game over on AFTV, and I said that this is my opinion on it. You look at the 2 teams, decisions made in January. Arsenal decided not to buy anyone. Not only did they decide not to buy anyone, they decided to actually weaken the team. Yeah. They got rid of Aubameyang. They got rid of Pablo Mari. They got rid of Ainsley Maitland-Niles. They got rid of, who else? There's someone else I can't remember now. 4 players went out. Yeah. Callum Chambers went to Villa. Yeah. At the time, we've got players off the wage bill, but everybody was like a bit baffled because it was like, well, we haven't bought in a replacement striker and we haven't bought in a midfield player, and we're relying on kids. Tottenham, on the other hand, remember Conte at the time? He made a big deal of it. He was very angry, came out, was saying all these things very publicly. A lot of that was aimed directly at the board. Yeah. He's like, this team's not good enough if I don't strengthen it up. They gave him Bentancur, they gave him Kulusevski. They've both been brilliant since they've come in. Both of them, by the way, had big contributions in the win yesterday. Yep. Kulusevski scored a great goal. That's what's really got them over the line. You saw Arsenal, as it started to come down towards the end of it and they're relying on kids, you know, they started to crumble. Tottenham deserve to get it. Let's be real.
We've spoken about this, and that's that, and I told you this is the difference, and we sort of suffered in that as well. You know, how can you weaken a team? You know, I hate it when I hear fans say, we've got people off the wage bill. Well, it's not your bloody money.
That's what I'm not. You know what I mean? Half of Arsenal's fans are accountants. I'm sure of it. Yeah. Because we're always talking about the wage bill. You know what? We saved £100,000. No, we've lost out on 50, 60 million quid by not getting in to the Champions League, where it was in Arsenal's hands. Tottenham as well. They've got in Harry Kane and Son, who, by the way, congratulations to him, he won the Golden Boot. Right, they've got goals in those guys. They've got guys that they can be having a bad day and they will still win them the game. That's what Arsenal have lacked. Arsenal got some serious rebuilding to do in the summer. And it's really, really... To me, yesterday, I was at the game. The goals were going in. We won 5-1. I was obviously cheering, but it was still like... It was so flat because... Not that the atmosphere was brilliant in the stadium, but I felt flat inside because... We could have, I mean, if it had come down to the last day, it would have been different. But Tottenham getting the 4th place, and I think, they deserved it. You think they deserved it?
Yeah, they did deserve it in the end, especially from where they came from as well. But that was the difference. They, when Nuno was there, they was proactive. They went out and got Conte. It was a big coup for them, and I wasn't even convinced that just Conte going there with sort of the morale they had in the squad. They couldn't defend it. earlier on this season as well. They was pretty poor at defending, and they did have that blip at the end of the season. But what Conte has done for them is he's got Kane playing again, which you know he was a big miss at the beginning of the season. But when you got two guys that can score 20 goals in the Premier League, you're always going to win games. But he's got them consistent. It's a consistency, and this Spursy tag, he may be the one to be able to rid them of this, because they're consistent. They're consistently good, and as you say, in January he sat there because Tottenham was sitting on their hands as well. You know, I don't think Tottenham were that convinced that he could get them into that top four. You know, the distance they were away, and you know the way teams were playing like Arsenal and even West Ham at times. And I think it might be a gamble to go out and spend this January. But he made it quite publicly clear, you know, I can't achieve unless you provide me with the tools to do the job. And them two players that have come in, and I wasn't convinced about Bentancur at all. I wasn't too sure of the other fella. But Bentancur, I thought, I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's quick enough for the Premier League. They've been brilliant, especially the winger, Kulusevski. He's been absolutely
scored a great goal yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes. Kai says, hello, Robbie. He goes, and Nicky, whatever happened yesterday, West Ham are still massive. I'd like to mention Ryan's Pat Butcher mask yesterday. Did have a right laugh seeing him on Sky with it on his head.
Yeah, we had we took a cardboard cutout Mark Noble as well. It was yeah.
And Janardan with another super chat says, "Hey Robbie, would you take Christopher Gaita, won the French league with Lille against the oil money PSG as Arsenal manager?" At the moment, listen, I don't think there should be. Arteta deserves. At the start of the season, a lot of fans didn't think we'd get into it. All right, back. Slight audio issue there. We've got that sorted. By the way, big up to everybody. Over 1.7 thousand people watching us live at the moment. Really grateful for that. Bigging up to everybody. The relegation battle, as I was just saying, Norwich gone. And after yesterday, the way you lot just laid down and died and let Tottenham beat ya, see ya. Right. I'm still angry about that. No. The Norwich are gone. Watford gone. Awful. I think the last home game they won was back in November when they beat Man United.
Yeah.
Home game. And do you know what? Let me big up the Watford fans. There was still loads of them at Chelsea yesterday.
Yeah. Listen.
I'll tell you, the Premier League, that's why, put respect on fans, man. I mean, when you see things like that, you know, because Watford fans could be excused for saying Chelsea away. No chance, man. I'm staying at home.
If it had been up north, I reckon they might have stayed at home. No, I mean, let's be honest. Look, we're looking at the table there. You said Norwich were very worse. Look, there's not a lot of difference between
1 point in it. They were both absolutely terrible.
Just a waste of two
Norwich
spaces,
lost 26 games. Watford lost 27 games.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's awful.
But who was going to go with them? It was between Leeds or Burnley. We knew already that Everton was safe during the week with their massive win. So who was going to go? The favourites to go, the team that were in the bottom three at the start of the day was Leeds. They were favourites to go. Burnley at home to Newcastle. Leeds with a very difficult game away to inform Brentford. Who was going to go? It's Burnley. Burnley that have gone. Nicky, what did you make of that? I mean, Burnley losing at home to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Leeds winning away at Brentford. Wow.
They're a funny team, Burnley. You know, but Newcastle. Let's be fair. Newcastle was never going to be an easy game because Newcastle are, you know, they're a good side now. They're a really good side now,
as we found out.
I think we've all found out at some point this season. But it was always going to. I think I backed them both to win because I just thought, you know, final day, I think they'll both win. And
All Burnley had to do was match whatever
Leeds did, and they drew. And but Leeds, I'm still a bit like, you know, the way. I'm very disappointed with some of the Leeds. We spoke to the Leeds fan the other day, and it's almost like they've taken Bielsa's side over the club. You know what I mean? Like, and I think to myself, and I genuinely believe this: if Bielsa was still in charge of them now, they'd have already been gone. They'd have been down there with Watford and Norwich already.
You've been a bit salty, though.
No.
You wanted them gone, innit? Yeah? And you said last week you wanted them out. You wanted them to get out of the...
Yeah, because I think...
And they survived.
I think the way that
they've... survived, Nicky.
They have survived. Yeah, they have survived.
You're shocked, innit? You thought they were gone.
If Bielsa was still there, and I'm shocked how loyal they have been to Bielsa over there, you know, because this guy has now kept them up.
Yeah. King Barber says, fair play to Jesse Marsh. Sorry, Mr. Lucian. Fair play to him.
Yeah,
Jesse Marsh, he kept them up.
He's the one that got them enough points. They scraped it. They scraped it on the last day, but he has kept them in the league. I still believe, like, you know, we had that discussion. Well, I forget the Leeds fan's name. Do forgive me. But we had the discussion, and we was talking about they didn't bring in the players that we needed. We needed this. And I said to him on the script, who was in charge and who was signing them players? He said, well, it was still Bielsa. Well, doesn't that tell you that he obviously didn't know what it took to be competitive in the Premier League? He had defensive.
He was here in the studio yesterday.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah, he was going nuts.
Absolutely. I thought he was going to have a heart attack.
He was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was. Going
he was going.
And that's the way it is.
It was brilliant.
How can you sit there and say we didn't sign them when the person responsible for signing the players was Beilsa, and he went out. They lost defensive players, and he went out and bought more attacking players.
Mustafi's carbon footprint says, really wanted to see Leeds go down. Could have got Rafinha and Calvin Phillips on the cheap.
Yeah, that's a thing. I think that's
there's a lot of teams that are thinking that, isn't it? And Rittle Boy 190 says, the problem with Watford is they change managers like people change clothes. There's no stability and backing behind the manager. That's very true, and that has cost them that gamble of always changing the manager. Boom Bap Original says, obviously Pep and Klopp are up there, but if you take them out, does Graham Potter get the manager of the season? They seem to have a few players off being very dangerous. We'll come back to Graham Potter and Brighton very soon. And yeah, there's just a lot of people here, sort of, what I can see, that we're glad that Leeds stayed up. Yeah. Matthew says, was concerned Jesse Marsh would be a talker and not a walker. He talked a big game, but fair play, he did it. I can't pronounce that name, but he says, if they keep Jesse Marsh, Leeds will get relegated next season.
But he's kept them up this.
Yeah.
If they had kept Bielsa, well, go and get Bielsa again and see what happens again next year.
H7 says, why do people hate Bielsa? The guy was working with Championship players and 3 Premier League players. Why do you hate him then? Yeah.
What about Marsh? Is he not working with the same players?
No, but ask the guys, why do you hate Bielsa so much? You know
I don't think he's a good manager. I think he's...
It's exciting, man.
I
see it exciting watching his team, man.
And it was all of the... it's exciting as a neutral, of course
it's exciting, man.
But I watched them at the beginning of I watched him get lauded up so much. They talked about him, even Sky and things were talking about him like he was the second coming of Alex Ferguson. And I watched them get beat 5-1 by Manchester United. Manchester United, by the way, who are not a very good team themselves, 5-1 at the beginning of Manchester United, which is a big rival, which is a big derby. And the article on Sky Sports was meticulous Bielsa. How can he be meticulous? He just got beaten 5-1. It wasn't the only time he got beat. Later on that season, they got beat 6-0, 7-0.
We beat him.
We beat him
5, or we put 4 past them.
Yeah, he's just going gun-ho and hoping for the best. He's not meticulous at all.
Anthony Gamey 67 says, Robbie, are you going to watch for Erling Haaland are you going to watch Erling Haaland score goals next season? He's one of the best. Again, going into City, that's going to make them good. Beefy LUFC, Leeds fan, obviously.
Yeah.
He says the board didn't back Beilsa. Beilsa wanted to sign players to make it better, but the board wouldn't pay out. That's what he says.
But they did sign a few players, right?
And this guy, the guy whose name I can't pronounce. Can you pronounce that name? The Nizu. Sorry, mate, I can't pronounce it. The Nizi Bizu. All right, good on. He says people are overhyping Beilsa because Pep talked good about him. Oh yeah, remember Pep and all those guys? They speak. Yeah, because he's beating everyone.
Yeah, he's a motivational speaker, that guy.
Norwich are a great side, you know.
Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, he's brilliant because he knows that's easy 3 points. Ricky Rook says absolute credit to City for winning yesterday, but hitting a kid for doing his job is shameful. And talk about the Olsen incident, please, says Shivam. Now, the Olsen incident was where the City vans invaded the pitch and somebody's reported to have assaulted Olsen. We've seen a lot of these pitch invasions this week. And there was an incident with Patrick Vieira at Everton. Billy Sharp. I mean, actually, where do you stand on it, right? This is where I stand on it. I was chatting to an Everton fan before the game yesterday. And he's like, Robbie, I was on the pitch. But he goes, I wasn't. I just wanted to celebrate. I didn't go on the pitch to do anything else apart from celebrate. All those fans that were on that pitch in the Everton game, apart from one idiot, was on there to celebrate. And that one idiot has made it look like all the Everton fans are thugs or something, which they weren't. They were on there, and we know why they were on there. They wouldn't normally be on that pitch. They were just elated and they ran on. But unfortunately, that one idiot, and the same in the Sheffield Wednesday, the Sheffield United one. Was it Sheffield Wednesday? No, sorry, Nottingham Forest game where Billy Sharp gets.
I mean, Billy Sharp one was
disgraceful,
particularly shocking because if you see that guy, I mean, he wasn't a small guy either. He was a big old lump as well, and a speedy come at Sharp.
Yeah,
Sharp turned around. And he obviously got hurt, but you know that hits you in the temple, that could kill you.
Could kill you, yeah.
You know, and that is the problem. I think.
What are we going to do about it, Dominic?
Well, this is the problem, and this is, I think, this is the age we're living in at the moment because you can see because of social media and the way news spreads so quickly. You know, you see one set of fans do it somewhere, and I think we've got the same thing with these smoke flares at the minute. Everyone's got smoke
That's what
flares.
I said. I thought flares were banned. You know, every Arsenal away game I've been to this season, there's been flares.
But we need
yesterday's game. There were blue flares everywhere in the Everton end.
Yeah, everywhere. And this is the thing because of the news and the pictures, you know, they see Nottingham Forest pitch invading and they go, oh, that's all right. And it only takes one or two people to jump and then everyone jumps.
Yeah.
The clubs need to be doing more. They need to be doing more because we can't get to a situation, in my opinion. Look, whether you want to set up, I know football is an emotional game, Rob. It is, you know, probably the most emotional thing that I attend, for sure.
Well, as we saw yesterday,
I have never myself had the inkling or the desire to jump on that pitch. There is no reason to be jumping on a pitch. No reason whatsoever.
But when you the Everton fans the other night, you know what I mean? But the Everton fans were saying to me, one guy was saying to me, he goes, listen, he goes, this is the first day for about the last 3 months. He goes, I'll go watch Everton home and away. It's the first game for about 3 months that I've woken up. And I'm looking forward to going to a game. I'm relaxed. I'm buzzing. Yeah, no, you can imagine the outpouring of emotions why they came on that pitch.
I do understand it, but I think that there was a saying once by Muhammad Ali, right? And he was talking about racism at the time, but I think it applies to this. He goes, if there's 1,000 snakes coming at me down the stairs, he goes, and 2 wanted to kill me, but I had to shut the door and stop the other 1,000 getting in, I'd shut the door. And I think that completely sums up what it is. There will always be 1 or 2 idiots in amongst that, and because you know, them people that are elated, that are you know, that want to go and celebrate on a pitch, a lot of them are so I've seen influencers on there want to get on there and get the Instagram photos. You know what I mean? Yeah, that sort of thing. But unfortunately, them people will hide in amongst them people, and we can't get to a situation where we have to have a major incident. Billy Sharp could have been killed with that headbutt. We can't get to a situation where they just turn around and say, right, let's wait till something really desperate happens and do something. And if they keep on doing this sort of thing, Rob, we'll end up behind fences again like we was in the 80s.
Which I used to hate. And I used to go football in those days, and it was disgusting.
But if it keeps on happening and players get attacked, it will end up one day. It's not just that. If people, and I'll go back to the flares, if people bringing in flares, where are they putting them flares? Because they're not allowed in grounds. Them smoke bombs are not allowed in grounds. They're long old things as well. They're not small, you know. If you walk in with a bottle of Coke, they'll make sure you take the lid off. And people walking in that size, what's to stop a person with a knife that size? You know. And unfortunately, that is society. They're always.
What would you do then? Would you ban anybody who runs on a pitch?
Yeah, I would. I would even get to the point where.
I mean, it'd be hard. You know, the other is like you banned the whole Everton the other night. Well, everyone was on the pitch.
Well, you have to. I think you have to punish the clubs. I think that's the only way. Just turn around and say, right, we're going to give you responsibility to stop this sort of thing. If you can't stop it, then we'll have 5 games behind closed doors. And if it happens again after that, we'll have 10 games behind closed doors. And if it happens again after that, they've got CCTV all around them grounds. They can identify anyone that goes onto the field of play. You need to start making examples of people. And not just the people that are, assaulting the goalkeepers, because they will be dealt with. But the problem is when you've got them elation, them people that are elated going on the pitch, that gives them idiots, sort of a blanket to hide under until they can go and do that.
City yesterday, they're all on the pitch. They broke the crossbar.
Yeah, It's I do understand that, but times have changed, and because as I said with social media, the way that it all spreads, people see it happening in Nottingham. One day later, I think I'll do a bit of that. That looks fun, doesn't it? You know what I mean? But it's
not fun for that guy in a Billy Sharp. He's in prison for 3 months.
For people that are invading that pitch, it's a bit of fun for 5 minutes. But you've got literally 22 players there that are trying to get off, fearing for their life, and they're getting attacked. It's not on. Yeah.
Anthony Gaming says, Robbie, I reckon you'll be the best commentators for the Premier League and Champions League. I think he's trying to be funny. Now that Arsenal will not be in the Champions League, Arteta's a serial failure. Wenger worked with scraps, says James Lowell. There's still a lot of there still are some upset Arsenal fans that we failed to get over the line in the end. Spot on, Nicky, says Salah. When you're talking about the pitch invasions, so he's agreeing with you. Paul Smith says Nicky forgets West Ham's past, is what he's trying to say. Well, that's
the past.
Yeah, that's past is the past, isn't it? And Nicholas Chan says, Robbie and Nick, which of Bournemouth, Fulham and Huddersfield go down next season? Well, it all depends what they do in the summer. A lot of people would have said Brentford were going to go down, and they were excellent. So let's see what they do in the summer. And there was one other super chat here I was trying to find. Kai says, if West Ham won the league like that and everyone went on the pitch, would you not join in, Nicky?
Definitely not. I couldn't get over the advertising. Have you seen the distance in the London Stadium? I need to go how attacked me before I got there. But no. All seriousness, I would not do. I've never had. We have had.
I have to admit, right? I went on the pitch once at Highbury.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Everyone was on.
Naughty boy.
I was on it. Yeah, but I ain't attacked no one. I was just on the pitch.
No, just.
But yeah, it's a hard one. But maybe you're right. With what's happened recently, something has to be done.
I think so.
I agree with you on that. Another super chat here. Mark T says, sad we couldn't get the top 4, but happy with the process. The only criticism I have is the January transfer window and the away form. 9 losses away is not good enough. We need signings. Bowen would be a good replacement for Pepe, he says. Minimum of 6 signings.
Dream.
He's been brilliant this season. Let's talk about West Ham, because there was another little battle going on where West Ham, if they beat Brighton, would get into the Europa League and finish in 6th place ahead of Man United. Manchester United lost away at Crystal Palace, another defeat for United. Ten Hag was in the stands watching on. West Ham winning 1-0. Great goal by Mikel Antonio. Lit that like a rocket. But ended up losing 3-1 to Brighton. And West Ham miss out on the Europa League in the Conference League. You had it in your hands. Yeah, you said last week you never beat Brighton.
Never. I ain't beaten them in 10 years, mate. I ain't beat Brighton in 10 years.
Bogey
never
team.
Beat them. It really, real bogey team. Went 1-0 up. Let's be fair. Their equaliser, I think, was the turning point. They made a couple of substitutes, and that's what we haven't got. We haven't got the squad. The team that have played the first 11 that we played yesterday have pretty much, barring injuries, played week in, week out. There's been no changes. There is no sort of rotation.
Didn't buy no one in January
Didn't
again.
buy anyone in January, and they looked. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's an excuse, because I think last game of the season you should be going all out, just put everything you've got left in there. And there was a couple of people that maybe was thinking about their holidays today, do I really want to go away with a dodgy ankle or whatever? And there was a few people that didn't put in a shift yesterday. But mostly the players that have played there, they've played nearly 60 games this season. Compared to Arsenal's 44. We went far in the European competition, which is the one that really knackers you when you're playing Thursday, Sunday all season. But it wasn't. But I can't. If I'm honest with you, Rob, I can't complain. We will be playing European competition next year, whether it be the Europa Conference League. For a club where we've been in the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years maybe, to be playing European competition, to go that far in this European competition this season, and then to be playing some sort of European competition next year, I'm delighted with the season we've had. You do sit there and think what could have been, and Man United losing was, it was a real stickler in the throat when you're winning and they're losing, because we would have been in the Europa League again. But all in all, over the season, it was always going to. We're not. A fantastic side when it comes to teams being organised. Organised teams we really struggle with. They've got to play open, expansive football for us to be able to get at them on the counter. And we need to deal with that. We're losing a lot of players this summer, and I think I was just saying to Jason just before, I think with the amount of signings, because I've heard through the grapevine that we've got 3 or 4 tied up already. Like, we've done our business early, which is not West Ham at all. So they're obviously identifying that, changes need to be made and replacements need to be made. And I think when you're bedding in them new players, conference football and the intensity that the earlier rounds bring might be easier for, playing some fringe players, getting some people used to playing. I'm delighted with the season, to be honest.
Okay. Anthony gave me 67, says, I was serious. I reckon you'll be a good commentator. All right. Thank you very much. Mark T says, oh, no, I did that one. I did that super chat. Lee says, thoughts on Spurs joining the race for Jesus? Because I think Jesus would be a proper Champions League footballer over Europa League. If the money is, or he'll choose that if the money is identical. Listen, it's going to be an interesting transfer window. Chris George says, Robbie, Tuchel said City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United and Spurs will contend for the title. He didn't include Arsenal. What are your thoughts? Well, he's probably talking sense at the moment. I'm not sure if Tottenham are in there either.
So he's mentioned Manchester United.
Man United are not in there. Did he mention Man United in there?
Yeah.
Let's talk about United. I mean, they've been shocking this season. Another defeat for them yesterday. 58 points, their lowest, I think, since the Premier League's began. Lost 12 games, drew 10. I mean, they've been so, and I was watching their game, watching the highlights of their game, and they were so poor. He's got a big job in his hands, Ten Hag, hasn't he? That's another.
I think too big.
Too big?
Honestly, I think too big. Ten Hag, look, listen. I listen.
You don't think Ten Hag's going to be successful then?
No, I don't think he will. And
why?
Because I think that job is. Robbie, they turned up yesterday. Ten Hag was there, by the way. Yeah, he went.
Bounce.
There was no bounce. If you're not going to put in, and there was players yesterday that refused to play for them. Pogba refused to play because he was worried about the reception he'd get from the Man United fan because he was on his way out. That's not good. The mentality in that squad. I've heard this since Ferguson left, yeah? Ferguson left, Moyes came in. Everyone blamed Moyes because his name weren't Van Moyes. You know, all of a sudden he wasn't good enough for them, you know. Louis van Gaal came in. Louis van Gaal will be the one. He's a really good manager. He'll sort us out. Fouled miserably. Won an FA Cup, but I think when you look at, you know, the size of the club Manchester United is, they should always be competing for them sort of cups. Then who was it next? Mourinho come in. He's a special one. He'll sort us out. He couldn't do it. Ole Solskjaer, legend of the club. He understands the club. He couldn't do it. This guy, when he came in earlier on this season, he's the philosopher. He taught Pep and he taught. He's failed miserably.
Radnick has been awful.
Solskjaer can't get hold of this guy who's meant to be this.
I thought he was going to say worse than Gunnosaurus.
I think Gunnosaurus might do a better job. But no, honestly though, he's came in. They all thought he was going to. He's this sort of, this tactical genius, this philosopher, this teacher of greats. He can't get hold of the dressing room. I'm worried for them because it just I know that they've got a few going out now. I know that the likes of Pogba are going out and
Lingard. Could Lingard go West Ham?
I've heard it's done.
Okay.
I've heard it's a done deal. So, but if he doesn't hit the ground running within the first 4 or 5 months, they'll turn him in again. And they'll want someone else. They'll want the next one.
Well, they did. Listen, if they're only going to give him whoever comes in at Man United, it's a bit like Arsenal, yeah? Whoever comes in, it's a big, big job. They need time.
It's the pressure.
They need
as well.
time, and
you saw
they're going to have to give him time. It could be another season.
It's the
when
pressure.
They're not in the Champions League. They have to give him the time. Look, it's a mess at the moment. You can see it.
The media put so much pressure on. He was trying to leave the ground yesterday, Ten Hag, and Sky Sports are running down the road, shoving a microphone in his face. Yeah, as he's trying. He clearly doesn't want to talk. Yeah, are you looking forward to the challenge? What the fuck is that? I mean, sorry, excuse my language, but what is that question? Are you looking forward to?
Imagine if me and you had done that.
Went, not really, no.
That was me and you. They'd be having a go at us.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's running down the road. He's getting shoved away by a security guard. He's shoving a microphone in his face. And then he's saying to the security guard, don't push me on television. This is Man United. This is a big club. This looks bad. Then that is pressure because every time, and you see it, like I was watching Sky Sports News earlier before we started this. They was talking about, are Spurs the 4th best in the league? And the pundits were saying, yeah, of course they are. They're 4th. The league's finished. And he's going, what about Man United? Don't you think they've got a better squad? It's just pressure, like constant pressure. And
listen, he needs time.
He won't
to rebuild that. If you speak to Flex and those guys over United View, they recognise he needs time and a lot of it. But the problem is when you're managing a club like Manchester United, you don't get time. I see, even with Arsenal, at the start of the season when we lost them 3 games, there was loads of fans I spoke to say, Robbie, mate, if we could even scrape the Conference League, we'll be happy with that for this season, yeah? Those same fans yesterday moaning we got 5th.
Yeah.
So, there's no patience at big clubs. You know what I mean? There isn't. People will say, but he needs time. He definitely needs time. Benny says, I'll let you off easy. No USA messages today. Benny's he's a fan from the States, right? He's always bantering me, saying how USA are going to beat England.
Your hat's on too tight, Benny.
I think Benny's been watching Pulisic recently and the amount of chances he's missed.
Yeah.
And now he's starting to reassess what's going on. But he said, couldn't have asked for a better season. Excitement all the way until the last day. Can't wait to see what the summer brings. When is Transfer Daily? Transfer Daily is starting next week over on AFTV. And on this channel here on DR Sports, we're going to be doing a daily transfer show as well. So look out for that as well. That is starting next week as well. So we'll keep you up to date with all the transfers going on. It is going to be an exciting season in the transfer market. Heard of a couple of transfers already today. Boubacar Kamara from Marseille signed for Aston Villa today. They've
Yep.
announced that. And Fabio Carvalho, the worst kept secret in football, is leaving Fulham to join Liverpool. Really talented footballer.
Yeah.
Very similar to your Diaz's and that. Another sort of wide player who's going to be but a very young player with a big future ahead of him.
Because they're going to need him.
Possibly, yeah, because he was one of the star players for them last season. Just looking at the rest of the league, Leicester, who won yesterday, big win for them. They finished in 8th place, so a top 10 finish for Brendan Rodgers in the end. Considering how bad the season has been with injuries and that, I bet he'll be quite pleased with how that ended up. A 9th place finish for Brighton. Graham Potter, you heard that guy earlier on saying about Graham Potter. He's worked wonders there. Disappointing for Wolves. They finished 10th in the end. At one stage, they had a chance of getting top 4, but they've been on a poor run. Again, that small squad's caught up with them. Newcastle finishing in 11th place. They were threatening relegation. Eddie Howe's come in and done an absolutely unbelievable job in not just keeping them up, but doing well. And I remember chatting to Matty from the Magpie channel at the game on Monday when Newcastle beat Arsenal. And he was saying to me, he goes, listen, if you guys are chasing top 4, he goes, we're not that far off it already when it comes to standards. He goes, couple of signings for Newcastle. I mean, they're going to be a threat going forward. But well done to Eddie Howe. Also, well done, you've got to say to Patrick Vieira. At the start of the season, a lot of people were saying Palace could go down. They literally got rid of all the older players in the team, went with a very young squad. He's done very well, Patrick Vieira there. They finish in 12th. Brentford, great season for them. 13th place finish. Excellent season. Disappointing for Villa, though, down in 14th. With the players and personnel they've got, they would have hoped to have got a top 10 finish. Southampton in 15th. You've got to be a bit worried if you're a Southampton fan. You know what I mean? They've not been playing well. I think they were very, very fortunate that they got off to a great start of the season. There were some fans the other day, I heard them, Southampton fans, saying that they want to change a manager. And Everton 16th, surviving by the skin of their teeth, as did Leeds. Burnley, Watford and Norwich are down. Manchester City win the league. Incredible. Kai says, is Nicky looking forward to playing the hooligans of Greece and Turkey and them sorts in the conference, he says.
I'm ecstatic about that one.
Your player of the season?
I think it's Son.
Son.
Heung-min Son.
Won the Golden Boot.
I honestly,
because
I think he was playing a lot of the time by himself. I think Salah had a great start, and at the beginning of the season, we was talking about him being the best in the world, but he fell off a little bit. De Bruyne has been consistent, and maybe I'm overlooking De Bruyne because I'm expectant of them sort of performances for him. But I think Son has been the most exciting.
He's had a great season.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going for Son. No, he has had a great season, Son, but I think De Bruyne deserves it, and they won the title as well. And he's been a massive part of that. He's been brilliant all season. So for me, De Bruyne, young player.
Rice.
I thought biased, wasn't it?
I think he's been the best young player.
He's been brilliant.
For consistency, I think he's the best.
He's been brilliant. The way they do these young players, I think it should be a young player to sort of burst onto the scene, and that's how I think.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Because Rice has been around for a few years. Even guys like Saka and that, they've been around for a few years. For me, my young player of the year, Conor Gallagher at Palace. This guy, he come from nowhere. He's on loan. He's been absolutely phenomenal this season. I think if you're a Chelsea fan, you'd be excited him coming back. He's got to play next season, surely, for Chelsea. But he, for me, was brilliant. Manager of the season.
Manager, I've got to say Pep.
I'll go Klopp.
Klopp, yeah.
I guess if it's only Premier League, it's got to be Pep, innit?
It's got to
because
be.
he's won the league, and despite all the pressure that Liverpool's put on him. But if you're going like the amount of games Liverpool have played, the fact that they've been chasing a quadruple, they've won 2 trophies, they pushed City all the way to within a point, can still win the Champions League. It's got to be Klopp for me. But if it's
We're
just
not as good a squad as well. Yeah, it's a good
if
shout.
it's just Premier League, probably Pep.
Yeah.
Biggest flop of the Premier League.
I said this the other day. There's been a couple. I think Varane, Man United.
You know what? It's not a bad shot.
Not a lot. I think he's gone under the radar a little bit as well.
Poor. He has been. They all blame Maguire. I'll tell you, I've seen some games like when they played against Arsenal. He made some shocking mistakes.
Yeah, there's a few shouts. There's Lukaku. You can say Sancho as well. Sancho's been absolutely tall.
You know what? Actually, the Lukaku one, 100 million, bought in to win the title.
But in terms of,
I'm going Lukaku actually.
But in terms of
all that rubbish he said as well.
Yeah. But in terms of what it was expected from Varane,
Chris George says Lukaku or Grealish.
I don't think Grealish has had a bad season. The thing is with Grealish, he was a big fish in a small pond, and then when you get put in a bigger pond, you sort of.
Oh, he's a shout, Rangnick.
Yeah,
that's a shout. As well.
I didn't even.
That's
think. I'm sure about signings, but I guess so. Yeah.
Rangnick. Oh, let me do a few more super chats as we round up here. Janardan says, Robbie, we finished 5th in Unai Emery's only full season after spending $250,000. We are back in the Europa League. This is not progress, he says. Arteta out from TT. Lukaku says Dale M as the worst player. Sancho says Shuriam. Pepe says Armhammer.
He's been there about 4 years, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's not been good. Varane has been injured half of the season, says Nathan.
Yeah, but the other half I saw,
Lukaku hasn't.
Rubbish.
Splashy says Conor Gallagher had a poor second half of the season. 3 goals, 1 assist since January. No, he's been good. He's been good. Maybe he wasn't as prolific as the first half, but he's been brilliant this season. Absolutely brilliant. Chris Wood says Daz. He scored a couple of goals, didn't he? I think a couple. Not many, but a couple. There's a lot of people in here for Lukaku, I'll tell you that. Ben White, he's been good. Ben White's had a good season. Danny Ings.
Vlasic for our club, definitely.
Vlasic, 35 million he cost, didn't he?
Well, we ain't paid him.
El Patron says Rashford. That's a shout as well.
I feel a bit
That's
sorry
a
for
shout,
Rashford.
man. He's been poor. Sal Niguez, says Alex. Chelsea. That's another shout. Bought in quality player. Has hardly played. He's been poor.
I ain't seen much of that. The geezer at Villa either. He scored a goal the other day. What's his name?
Ollie Watkins?
No, the one that they signed from Norwich.
Oh, Buendia.
Buendia.
For the price tag, he's not been great either. No. Benitez, says Gemini.
God, I forgot about him.
Yeah, he was poor. Todd Miller says, great stream, up the Chelsea. Summer transfer window can't come any faster. He says, hold on a minute, you can't buy no players at the moment, Todd, until you get this sale done, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't buy no players.
Yeah, still that's still lingering. Where are we now? We're nearly.
I think they're gonna get it sorted.
23rd.
Got Alex in the room. I know he's a Chelsea fan over there. Sorted. It's going to get done
that last week, Alex.
Save the bridge. Get the work on. We'll save that bridge. But yeah, I think they're going to get it sorted out. So it's going to be interesting with Chelsea is now new owners. It's not the sugar daddy days no more where Abramovich can just tear up the script. And go again. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the transfer window.
Change of approach, I think.
Yeah.
From Chelsea.
Anyway, listen, we've come to the end of the show today. Listen, I want to thank you very much, man. Nearly 3,000 of you been watching live. Appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe here to DR Sports. Just to tell you, coming up this weekend, we've got a massive watch-along to the Champions League final. Raul's going to be in the building. Raul's been a legend supporting Real Madrid. Doyle and the guys are going to be here supporting Liverpool. We're going to have as well a load of fans up here in the building as well. It's going to be a brilliant stream. You do not want to miss that. I want to send big congratulations as well going out to Lyon. What a performance by them in the women's Champions League final, destroying Barcelona. I think a lot of people thought that Barcelona were going to take it because Barcelona, you know what they've done, Barcelona's women's team?
What have they done?
Something that has only been done by one team in this country before.
The treble?
They went invincible.
Did they?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, their invincible that they did was incredible because they didn't lose a game. They didn't draw no games. They won,
won every game.
Won every single game. Incredible. They went into that final with loads of confidence, but Lyon, the eternal winners of that competition, they always seem to get the job done. Bullied them a bit in the final and they won it. So congratulations to them. We'll be doing the men's here on Saturday, so make sure you check it out. Also, we're going to be doing all the games of the Women's Euros, right? That's starting on the 6th of July. It's been played in this country, of course. There's going to be a lot of interest around that. The England team is very strong. Spain team is very strong. There's some good teams in that. So watch us building up to that. Looking forward to that as well as F1, everything right throughout the summer here on DR Sports. Remember, you can check out Nicky for great West Ham content over on West Ham Fan TV. But that's a wrap of the season. Manchester City are the champions of England. Congratulations going out to them. Commiserations to the 3 teams that went down in Norwich, also Watford and Burnley. Well done to Leeds and Everton for staying up. But that is it. That is the season over. And now we get down to all the transfers and stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, it's a quick turnaround for the season this year because coming back the first week, literally in August. So not a lot of rest. World Cup is here as well. So it's going to be absolutely massive. Thanks for watching. As I said, once again, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and we'll see you on the next one.